You're listening to the Big Ideas Podcast with Ashlee Ilg. Tune in for honest conversations as we pursue bold dreams, redefine what is possible, and empower the next generation to live big. You'll hear stories that prove over and over again that just because something wasn't a part of our plan doesn't mean it won't be used for our good. Whether you're already an entrepreneur, you dream of becoming one, or you're raising the next generation of entrepreneurs, this podcast is for you. There's no time to waste on your big ideas. So let's get started. Here's your host, Ashlee Ilg.
Hi friends, welcome back to the Big Ideas Podcast. I'm your host, Ashlee Ilg, and this has just been so fun. I can't believe we're more than halfway through this entire season of just designing that blueprint of bringing our business ideas from start to finish. Again, we're rolling through a lot to accompany the Future CEO Playbook that I launched earlier this year. And if you have it, great. This is definitely going to be coinciding right along with that, as you've been probably noticing. If you're jumping in right now and haven't listened to the earlier episodes, that's totally fine, but it's definitely intended to be built upon each episode. So go back and listen to episode 1 and work your way up as well, so you get that full scope, that full picture of just bringing your big ideas to life and launching a business that lasts, that's real. And I'm just totally here cheering you on. I'm so excited that you're here joining us. And this episode, this whole section is one of my very favorite topics to talk about. It's all about the marketing plan. I'm calling it Market Like a Boss, getting the word out, because even the best products, the best business ideas do not sell themselves. And I just love instilling that confidence in early entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs to really just kind of get over themselves. I think that's typically a very common stumbling block, that, everybody's excited about their product, excited about their business idea, but when it comes to telling the world about it, or even your next door neighbor, I don't know why, but sometimes there's a tendency to maybe shy away from that, or maybe treat it like some small thing, or just like a little side hobby or something like that. And I'm just here to tell you that there's no place for that. If you're not excited about your business and your products, then nobody else will be either. So it starts with you, kind of going back to what we said in the earlier module with building your brand. You are your brand. You are what people are really buying into. And so it plays all the way into the marketing plan and how we share about your business, share about your products, and how you show up from here on out. It's getting real. We're about to launch this business. We're talking about how we're going to launch it. So, we're getting close. But really in this module, we're going to just focus on 3 things. We're going to talk about how to promote your business, how to build a really solid reputation, and how to build a really awesome, loyal customer base that will just keep coming back. They'll help spread the word. They will share what you're doing, because endorsements and customer reviews and word of mouth, trust me on this, is going to be your number one marketing play. So, but it starts with you. It starts with getting those customers on board to begin with, and then they will literally help multiply your success and your sales and all of that. So, let's talk about how to get the word out. How do we want to promote your business? And like I've said before, as fun and as exciting as it is to talk about your product, and you need to, the biggest way to share about it is to share your story. And, it's because people don't buy products. They buy stories. They buy from people that they connect with, that they relate with, that they feel compassion toward, that they feel connected with in some way, And so the way you tell that story to bring your product and your business to life is everything. I can give you a personal example from our golf cart dealership here that's local. It's Big O's Golf Carts. The number one way that we have built that company, it's over 15 years old now, but we've always said word of mouth is our number one marketing play. And it's because of sharing our story. And the story we would tell our customers is the truest version of, Andy, my husband, went to school to be a rocket scientist. He worked in aerospace engineering for a number of years and realized that he wanted to, build and sell and design golf carts. We live in a town where golf carts are a main means of transportation. And he realized I can do that. I can do that better, I think, than even the competition. I can fill a need for custom golf carts in a way that nobody has done before because, rocket science. And the idea just took off. And so we love telling the story of how it started in our garage, and how our garage kind of looked like a mad scientist lived there because he was designing all of these crazy, inspired ways to upgrade and customize golf carts. And, one thing led to another. We needed a small store. We needed to hire people as it was growing. One thing led to another. And then we moved into the larger shop that we're at now. We have a whole staff. We're hardly there anymore. I'm definitely not there anymore. And the business continues to run itself. And because we have an amazing team, right, who also have heard that story, believe in this story, have bought into that story. And the tagline is adventure awaits on the roads less traveled, right? And not just the golf cart path. It's a fun play on words with the golf cart paths, but it's got a deeper meaning of leaving that engineering world, maybe that status quo world, to the world of entrepreneurship. And you literally never know where that path is going to go. And we just, the custom golf carts were tied into building a custom life. And so our customers would come and say, whether they articulated this specifically or not, but the play on, you're not like your neighbor, so your golf cart shouldn't be either. And we really honed in on the uniqueness of our story, choosing the roads less traveled, and then helping our customers design their custom life, aka their custom golf cart, to pursue their adventures on the golf cart paths. And so it was just a really fun way to share the story. The story never gets old. You'll find that every time you share your story, you're going to get so much more passionate about what you're doing and why you're doing it, because you're going to remember why the whole thing started and why it matters to you. And I promise you, your customers are going to pick up on that passion and that relatability and that conviction to you knowing why you're doing what you're doing and why it matters. Hey friend, quick pause before we keep going. As you know, this season of the Big Ideas podcast is all about building ideas, confidence, leadership, and real-world skills our kids can actually use. And if you've been listening thinking, wow, I wish I had something like this when I was growing up, I did too, which is why I created the Future CEO Playbook. It's a hands-on guide designed to help kids think like problem solvers, build and test ideas, understand money, communicate clearly, and take initiative with faith, purpose, and creativity at the center. You can order the spiral-bound workbook at ashleeilg.com or the paperback version on Amazon. Both are designed to be worked through interactively, so kids can write, plan, build, and reflect as they go. If this season has you inspired, the playbook helps you put it into action. All right, let's get back to the show. And so take some time and really think about, what is your story? How does it connect with your product? How does it connect with your customers? And you may not know that right now. We really didn't piece together all of that, on day one when we were, selling a golf cart out of our garage. It definitely took a couple of years to really hone in on what that story was. But people will want to know from the start, like, how did you get started? Why did you start this business? And you need to know the answer to that. And it needs to be a real answer. It needs to be, heartfelt. This is not the time to be, kind of standoffish or corporate-y or anything like that. Don't try to be overly professional. They want to know why this company matters to you, why you're taking the risk to start a company and to go off on your own and to pursue something new, right? And so be ready to answer what inspired you to start this. When you solve the problem, what kind of joy does that bring to you? Why does it matter that you are helping to solve this problem with your business? And why should other people care? That will help build that connection. Again, it was we're helping you to design a custom golf cart so that you can go pursue your adventures. They want to know what's in it for them. So even beyond just your personal story of what brought you here, they need to know why that matters to them now too. So just bring that whole story full circle. No big deal. Push pause anytime you need to do some jumping jacks like we keep talking about. But I cannot overemphasize how important it is to really know your story, be able to articulate your story, and how that really sets the groundwork for your marketing plan. So once we've done that, we're ready to kind of move on and talk about what avenues and what ways that we want to go ahead and get the word out for our marketing. So some things are going to come more naturally to you than others. And so just kind of like, from square one, what do you already love doing? What do you find interest in? That's going to help lead in with your marketing plan as well. So are you already online? Do you already have a strong visual brand on social media? Do you already love talking to people? Are you already sort of that people person, that magnetic personality that's never met a stranger, and you make friends easily? Would you say that that's you? That's going to help hone in on this as well. Do you like creating designs? Do you have an eye for graphic work and, designing layouts and flyers and things like that? Do you like making videos, doing some film work? Do you like doing that editing part and, creating that storytelling brand on camera? What about writing and storytelling on paper? Do you like writing it out and creating, the words that go along with your product, your business, your story? Do you like researching? Do you like planning? Do you like getting the ins and the outs and the nitty gritty and some real in-depth information to help share your story as well? Based on those different preferences, those different styles will help you find your style for your marketing plan as well. For example, if you like writing, flyers, captions for social media posts, emails, email marketing is hugely effective when it's done well. If you like talking, not everybody does. So if you like talking, that is a skill. Don't overlook it. You can ask your friends to help spread the word. You can create like a hype team, and you work together using your actual voices, and that's your marketing plan. Don't ever minimize the effect and the power of word of mouth marketing. It's super, super effective. If you like doing visuals, whether it's video or artwork, graphic art, things like that, designing posters, taking photos of your work, using that visual imagery to help market your work. Those are all the things you love doing will help clue you into some mediums and ways that we're going to help spread the word about your business. And then so after you kind of brainstorm on what you already love doing, what you can easily have access to doing, let's nail down like 2 or 3, top ways of getting your message out, what works for you and also what's going to be effective for, like we've already talked about, your business and especially your target customers. If you love designing things for social media, but your target audience is grandparents, then that's not going to work. So just because you love doing it, it also doesn't mean that it's going to be great for your target audience. So you do need to definitely keep in mind who you're trying to reach, where they already are, and then let that lead you to what you love doing, what you're skilled at doing, and how we can make all that work together. So here's some ideas to kind of brainstorm through. And like I said, let's pick 2 or 3 different ways to get your word out about your business. So if you're young, you might want to ask parents permission, but social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of that, can be done very well. It can be very effective. If your target audience is there, you could do printed flyers, if like my snack shack, that would be great to use at schools or at sporting events where people are going to be and they need to see something visual to catch their attention. Emails or text messages, if you've already got an established baseline of customers and people that you already have contact information for to contact and to start building, emails and text messages are great. School announcements or at events where you can maybe have somebody help spread the word vocally with word of mouth, just your word of mouth, or like we've talked about with a team of people, with them just spreading the word. You could do libraries or community events. You could do pop-up tables or booths. I host Kids Business Day every year, and that's a great way to get the word out and to tag team on the marketing efforts for that event. As you get going, the referrals from existing customers is going to be your number one way to continue to get the word out. Referrals just builds trust. It builds a whole community of ambassadors for you, and that's going to be great. There's also, like group chats, different clubs you're in, different athletic groups you're in, all of those. If that, if like that teammate's not necessarily your target customer, but their parent or grandparent or somebody else that they know might be your target customer, you might have to go, through initial points of contact to reach who you're trying to reach. But just based on that list, just brainstorm, write down 2 or 3 top ways that you want to reach out to your target audience and help get the word out. And then start crafting your message, whether it's going to be a social media post or a word of mouth pitch or a flyer or something, you're going to use what are called the 3 C's of marketing. So you're going to want it to be clear. What are you offering? That needs to be crystal clear what it is. You don't want anybody ever walking away going, but like, what are they selling? What was the whole point of that? So make sure that it's clear. Number 2, make sure it's catchy. You want it to catch their attention. You want it to make them stop what they're doing and pay attention. And 3rd, there needs to be a call to action. They need to know what they need to do next. So just because they're excited and they're like, oh my gosh, what a great idea, but you don't tell them where to find it, market or what to do next or how to contact you or stay in touch, you've missed that whole third part. So the 3 C's to marketing are be clear, be catchy, and have a call to action. And so I would definitely just recommend take some time, write out based on the ways that you decided, whether it was a social media post or flyer, etc. Take some time and write out a few social media posts, write out some flyers, write out a headline, write out some little taglines, maybe make a list of friends that you want to reach out to and see if they'd come on board as your, initial team of ambassadors. A really great pro tip, I would say, would be to collaborate with existing entrepreneurs. If you know somebody that's in a similar space as you, or not, they really don't even have to be, but if it's somebody that's another entrepreneur that would value a like-minded collaboration, whether it's on social media or something in person at an event where you would both benefit, make it a win-win. You promote their product, they promote yours. It's a win-win. Maybe offer a giveaway, like a tag team type of a giveaway. Those are really effective as well, because then you tap into their target customers, they can tap into yours, and entrepreneurs just love working together. If there's ever the idea that you're on your own and you're on an island, just let that idea go, because entrepreneurs love cheering each other on. And if you can't find anybody that is cheering you on, I'm your person. So let me know. I can collaborate with you as well too. So all different ways, but start getting some actual words, phrases, designs, headlines on paper, and let's get those marketing plans started. And because I'm a huge fan of setting a goal and setting a to-do list, and just setting sort of those actions for your next steps. So you're going to want to write down, what are you promoting? What channels are you going to use? 2 to 3 of them. What will your message say? What will each one say to your specific audience? How will it say it? How will it reflect your personal brand and your voice, right? And when people respond to you, you need to be ready to start building your reputation and building that trust and that loyal customer base from the get-go. Delivering what you promise, being polite, of course, being professional, sharing the happy customer reviews, any photos, have already that in the back of your mind of when those come in, what am I going to do with them? Because they are coming in and you're going to want to use them. Word of mouth and referrals and positive reviews are super effective for marketing. Maybe even plan some behind the scenes, like day in the life of a young entrepreneur, day in the life of, making this happen, day in the life of launching my first business. People love coming along the journey with you. They love feeling like they've got a front row seat to what you're up to, and not missing those opportunities to capture them is, you don't want to. So be thinking about that. Have your phone rolling with some video, take some pictures along the way. Even if you don't know exactly what you're going to do with it, just capture those moments now, because I think you'll be happy that you did when you're ready for them. And always show gratitude. Always say thank you publicly. Always go above and beyond with a thank you note, and just a kind word of appreciation goes so far, especially as you're getting started. People love knowing that you're counting on them, that they're on your side, and that their support matters to you. So all of that plays into your marketing plan. Before you move into the next segment, our next episode, because we are going to do a little pre-launch next. So you are going to want to have these marketing ideas and these first drafts ready to go and kind of ironed out. So take some time. This matters. Marketing is so valuable. When it's done well, it makes all the difference between a launch or a flop. And you don't want to put all of this time in to not market it thoroughly and the best way possible. So it doesn't have to be expensive, doesn't have to be terribly time consuming, but it does need to be done intentionally. And so that's what we want to spend the time doing before we move on, making sure you know exactly what you want to say to reach your target audience, to put your best foot forward and represent your business the best way possible, because it's true, first impressions make all the difference. So this is your time to make that happen. I'm so excited to see what y'all are coming up with. Until then, I will see you on the next episode. Thanks so much for being here. Hey friends, thanks so much for tuning in today. Before you go, it would mean the world to me and my family if you would share this episode with at least one person who you think might benefit from this message. And of course, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. You can also follow me at Ashlee Ilg on Instagram to keep up with our adventures and for continued encouragement as you pursue your big ideas. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time.